everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina and I help people to declutter their minds and their homes using practical applications of psychology. And today we're going to be talking about an extremely interesting phenomenon called the sunk cost fallacy. Now, this is a psychological concept that really directly relates to clutter and hoarding tendencies and can really be the reason that a lot of people find it very difficult to part with things that no longer serve them. So we will be doing a deep dive into this concept, and then I will be talking about how we can set ourselves free from it and finally start to declutter our lives. Now, if you're like most people who struggle with clutter, there are probably a lot of things that are hanging around your home simply because you paid good money for it when you bought it and you feel like it would almost be a waste if you got rid of it. Maybe it was even expensive at the time that you bought it, like a television or a computer, and now it's just kind of really outdated. Or maybe you just have a bunch of stuff that you bought because you intended to use it but never really got around to it. So maybe an expensive coat or a musical instrument or some exercise equipment. You don't really want to part with it because you feel guilty that you spent money on it, but deep down, you know, this stuff has been hanging around for years and there's really not much of a chance that it will ever get used. And this is exactly what the sunk cost fallacy describes. It is our tendency to be reluctant to abandon a course of action or have difficulty letting go of an item if we already invested time, effort, or money into it, regardless of whether or not the current costs outweigh the benefits. So for example, we tend to finish a movie in a movie theater even when it is terrible because we bought that ticket and we don't want to waste the cost of the movie. So in reality, not only do we lose out on the cost of the ticket, but we also lose out on our time that we could spend on doing something that is actually enjoyable. We also see this a lot in relationships or careers where we know it's not going well, we're not really enjoying it, but we keep going because we feel like we've already invested 3 years of our life and we may as well keep going with it. We see this also in business ideas. We may have a terrible business idea and realize that it is a terrible business idea, yet keep going with it because we already spent all this money and time working on it. And of course, we see this all the time with clutter. We hang on to things that do not serve us. They have no value or use in our life anymore whatsoever, simply because we spent the money on it in the first place. It means we often have an inability to accept the fact that some expenses are lost forever and we will never get them back. And in the case of clutter also, we have to realize that the money that we initially spent on an item often has nothing whatsoever to do with its value at this point in time. So even though something may have been expensive at one time, it could still be valued at pretty much nothing right now. Because of the strong negative emotions that we can feel if we believe we were wasteful or if we made a mistake, we can feel so much guilt that we just keep these items even though they no longer serve us whatsoever. So for example, maybe we bought a coffee table that was on sale for $500 6 years ago, and we put it in our house for a little while and we realized it just was not working for us. So we stick it in the garage. Because of the sunk cost fallacy, we will just continue to store this coffee table for the rest of our lives, even though it has no value, we never plan to use it, simply because we made that initial investment. We have to remember, however, that just because we are holding on to something doesn't magically give it value again. In fact, in most cases, the opposite is true. Things tend to lose value the longer that we hold on to it. So for example, when we buy a new car, the second we drive off the lot, it has less value. I have a friend that has not been able to let go of this huge video camera that he got probably in the early 90s that still takes VHS cassettes when it records, and he can't get rid of it because he said, you know, when I bought this, it was top of the line. I spent so much money on this. It just seems wasteful and ridiculous to me to think that I would ever throw this away. It was just so expensive. But the reality is, even if it had cost $1 million back then, now it is worth nothing. People would much rather just take a video on their phone than to lug around this huge video camera. So these are the types of things that we have to look out for and to really start to give ourselves a reality check. One of the most common areas I see this in is clothing. Now, so many people have tons and tons of clothes that they're not willing to get rid of, especially clothes that they have never worn before, clothes that still have the price tag. Now, there is a reason why we haven't worn something. Usually it doesn't fit right, or we don't think it's very attractive, or we bought it simply because it was on sale, but we do have that buyer's remorse. We have that guilt that these things did not get worn. So we tend to keep these things, and we tell ourselves that eventually we'll find a way to wear this or to make it work. And the reality, again, in this situation is, are we really ever going to reach for that item that doesn't fit well or doesn't look good? Or are we always, when we get dressed, going to pick something that we know looks good and that we are comfortable wearing? Of course we are. So we are just kidding ourselves by keeping these things that really aren't practical whatsoever. So eventually we really do have to come to grips with the fact that some money really is gone forever. Yes, we can try to sell some of these items, but even in those cases, it's very unlikely that we're going to get out of it what we put in. And I am here to release you of that. I'm here to let you know that it is okay. You do not have to continue to live in guilt and regret and keep these emotions from allowing you to clear these things out of your home. You are not a bad person for admitting that these things do not serve a function, if they ever did, in your life, and therefore do not deserve any space in your home. I know this can be especially difficult to hear or accept if you have struggled financially, or if you grew up in a household where it was taught to you that you should never be wasteful. But it's important to realize that using something just because you bought it without joy or true desire to use something, or keeping something without using it, is no better than letting it go. In fact, by keeping these items, they are continuing to cost us every single day of our lives. They incur all kinds of costs that we're not taking into consideration. Some of the direct costs can be the containers that we need to store all these things in that we have to buy, or even storage units that we have to get. It can cost us rooms in our house. Many people have rooms in their house that serve absolutely no function whatsoever other than being a storage bin for all these items that never get used or even looked at in many cases. And in some cases, people even end up having to get new homes. They have to buy bigger homes simply because they have so much stuff, the stuff no longer fits in the home that they have. But it can also go far beyond that. It can have costs to our well-being and even to our relationships. Maybe we have a lot of tension in our relationships because our loved ones don't really understand our struggle with clutter, or they don't really appreciate living in a cluttered home. Maybe it's costing us our self-confidence and our self-esteem and our ability to feel proud of the home that we live in. Maybe we are really feeling the cost of not being able to have a house that is inspiring and clean and restful to us. Maybe we have the cost of feelings of anxiety or depression. Because everyone is different, there's really no end to how clutter may affect someone. So for many people, it goes far beyond that initial sunk cost. So with that being said, I really want to focus on how we can learn to let this mentality go, how we can learn to break free of the sunk cost fallacy that actually ends up costing us every day of our lives. The first thing that we can do is to forgive ourselves if we feel guilt about purchases or wasted money. Even if we never use these things a minute in our life, we still need to offer ourselves self-compassion and self-forgiveness. We did not buy these things with the intent of them getting wasted or not being what we ultimately really wanted. It just happened that way. We have to know that holding on to guilt and regret and punishing ourselves by trying to hold on to these items never really solves anything at all, and it really prevents us from moving forward in our lives. We can commit to critically thinking before we make a purchase. We can try to make the best decisions possible every single time and really think things out. However, we have to know that realistically, there are going to be sunk costs. Things do decrease in value. Things are not always going to be exactly what we had hoped them to be. So we're never going to get it right 100% of the time. So we have to offer ourselves that grace and forgiveness and know that we are going to do the best we can as we move forward. The second thing we can do is to stop letting the costs of clutter multiply in our life. It is time to stop the bleeding and to face up to the fact that probably we're never going to get out of this what we put into it, and that again is totally fine. What is not fine is continuing to let this clutter harm our lives. So we want to think about how clutter is affecting us in our own specific situation and deal with those things. If we have things that we need to declutter, clearly it is time to let them go. If we have rooms in our house that we can no longer use because they are simply storage bins, it's time to start working through these things, because this clutter is going to continue to affect us negatively until we actually address the problem. When you start to declutter your home of all these useless items, you are going to start to feel a freedom that you never had before. Not only can decluttering offer us freedom, but it can also improve the lives of other people. Of course, the people directly in our life will also benefit from this, but also people that we don't know, people maybe that are less fortunate than us, that would be thrilled to have these items that we are donating. They would be thrilled to have these things that have no purpose in our life, but maybe would have a big purpose in their life. So not only can you help yourself, you can help other people in the process. And as you are cleaning up and decluttering, if you are finding items that really you do believe have value and that you really could sell, this is my advice to you. I think you can give yourself a deadline. Probably 6 months is very, very generous and fair. And tell yourself that you have 6 months to try to sell these items. You can put them all in a box together, or if they are bigger items, if they are furniture, put them all in a corner all together and start to try to sell them. And make sure that you start with the things that are the most valuable first, just in case you run out of time and energy. But you will quickly find out if this is something that you are going to truly follow through with or something that's never actually going to happen. Either way, it is fine, but make sure that at the end of the 6 months on that day, so write it on the calendar, that all these items get donated. You've given yourself half a year to get rid of these items, so if they haven't been able to be sold, it's just kind of a sign that it is time to let them go. So I am curious to hear if you think the sunk cost fallacy is something that you are struggling with, and please do not be embarrassed if it is. This is something that I personally struggled with for years. Actually, clutter in general is something that I struggled with for most of my life, so I know how difficult it can be. I also want to let you know that if this is an area overall that you struggle with, I do have a full playlist on the psychology of clutter and disorganization. I will go ahead and put it in the description box below so you have that resource. And also do become a subscriber, because this is a topic that I cover all the time in videos. So there will be many more future clutter videos to come. So that being said, I truly hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, please like it, share it, and I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope the rest of your day is extraordinary.